Hello everyone! Thank you for visiting our channel. Have you ever experienced such like stories? At times, chance encounters are not entirely coincidental, and they do not always bring joy. One just needs to look closer. Lauren and Nicholas had been living together for several years and got married only a year ago. They had a grand wedding, and after that, Nicholas's grandmother kindly gifted him a small apartment. Even though the newlyweds lived separately, their life had settled down, and they couldn't get enough of each other since their love was still very young. They stopped seeing their friends as often, dedicating their time to each other. One warm summer day, as the couple was returning from the store and walking up to their floor, they noticed that the neighboring apartment was open, and there were some boxes in the hallway. At that moment, a broad-shouldered, cheerful young man came out of the open apartment. He saw his new neighbors and immediately extended his hand to Nicholas. "Hello guys, my name is Joshua, and we'll be neighbors from today onwards." "Wow, Joshua, it's been ages," Nicholas said in amazement, and then smiled broadly. "Fate has brought us together again." The guys hugged each other like old friends. Lauren stood there in confusion, and her husband explained to her that they and Joshua were childhood friends who used to play together in the same yard, and now they had become neighbors. Lauren smiled at her new friend, and he looked admiringly at his buddy's beloved. The group began spending a lot of time together. They went to the movies, restaurants, often sat at each other's homes, and since it was close by, it was convenient. The guys reminisced about their childhood stories, made many jokes, and Lauren was just happy in their company. Gradually, they became very close friends. But one day, this idyll was interrupted by a fourth person. Once, Joshua came to visit his neighbors with Brianna, his new girlfriend. She was very sociable and constantly cracking jokes, immediately capturing the attention of everyone gathered. Brianna could support any conversation. Lauren was sitting in her own apartment feeling like a fish out of water, unable to resist such charisma. Nicholas noticed this change in his wife's mood and embraced her. At that moment, Joshua decided to kiss his beloved, and for some reason, Lauren's mood worsened even more. In the following couple of days, something peculiar occurred between Nicholas and his wife. She was nitpicking over trivial matters, was in a terribly bad mood, and their intimate life had completely vanished. Their life had become the antithesis of what it was just a month ago. To add to that, Nicholas was also swamped with work. He started staying back for several hours every day to finish his projects on time. The family life had started to slowly crumble. One day after work, Nicholas decided to visit his neighbor for advice on how to repair his relationship with Lauren. "Friend, I truly don't know what's going on. She has become so irritable, yet she does not mention any reason for it. Have you experienced something similar with your girlfriend?" But Joshua's response was no longer heard by the young man. He saw a suspiciously familiar hair clip on the nightstand near the sofa. It was the same one he gave to Lauren when they had just started living together. She complained then that it was inconvenient to clean the house because her hair would get tangled and fall on her face. One day her beloved brought her this hair clip, saying that now cleaning would become easier. She looked at him reproachfully, and he kissed her on the cheek, took the mop from her hands, and whirled her in a dance. Nicholas was deeply immersed in memories of that happy day, but his thoughts were interrupted by Joshua. "Nicholas, are you okay?" In a couple of minutes, the young man was already at home, and his wife was washing dishes at that time. Nicholas approached her and said, "My dear, isn't it inconvenient for you to do housework like this? Where is your hair clip?" Lauren shook her head in the bedroom. For the sake of the experiment, the man went to the designated place to check, but the clip was not there. It was not in the other rooms either. Nicholas returned to his wife and, looking straight into her eyes, said that the clip was missing. Now it was important to catch her reaction. For a couple of seconds, Lauren silently thought, then she twitched a little, as if remembering something, and said, "No, it's not necessary, dear. I've almost finished everything, look." She rinsed the last plate, turned off the water, and citing fatigue, went to another room. The young husband was spinning in his head all the imagined arguments of the last time, Lauren's aggression, and even her refusal of farewell kisses. Nicholas silently watched his wife and pondered deeply. After a few weeks, the couple needed to celebrate this event. Lauren continued to communicate with her husband a little coldly, but agreed to go to the party with pleasure. In the evening, the four of them gathered, Nicholas and Lauren, and Joshua and Brianna. The table was set, champagne was being poured. The young people congratulated Joshua on his long-awaited promotion, talked, and laughed a lot. The wife seemed to have thawed, behaved very liberated, and had fun. Nicholas noticed the same hair clip on the nightstand again, and in the middle of the feast, he paid attention to it. He turned to his wife and said, "Here's your hairpin. I wonder how it got here?" The laughter immediately stopped and an eerie silence filled the room. His wife nervously laughed and began to say something when Joshua unexpectedly spoke up. "Yes, we had something. You wanted to hear it. I fell in love with your wife. It happens. You always took the best of everything. Now it's my turn." Without hesitation, Nicholas punched his childhood friend in the face, causing him to fall off his chair. The girls stood up and nervously shrieked. Before the fight could continue, his wife spoke up. "Nicholas, please forgive me. Let's calm down and not resort to violence." Nicholas tried to calm down and, slamming the door, went to his apartment. Lauren helped Joshua get up and stayed with him, deciding that her husband needed to be alone. Only Brianna didn't know what to do in this strange and unexpected situation. She followed Nicholas to the neighboring apartment, not knowing where to go. They sat silently on the couch, each lost in their own thoughts. Nicholas rubbed the hand that had hit his wife's lover. Suddenly, Brianna turned to him and said, "Let's get revenge on him too. Let him feel the same way. I've liked you since we met." She leaned in to kiss him. Initially, Nicholas responded to the kiss, but then pushed the girl away and said, "What the hell is going on here? Is everyone losing their minds? What kind of revenge? Leave." Brianna burst into tears and ran out of the apartment, leaving Nicholas alone with his thoughts. Time passed. Lauren and Nicholas, of course, divorced, and she moved in with the neighbor. Fortunately, she didn't have to carry her things far. Nicholas stayed alone in his apartment. They tried not to cross paths on the staircase. One evening, when Nicholas was coming home from work, he heard loud shouting and cursing in the hallway. Then the door slammed shut. When he got to his floor, he realized that Joshua was arguing with his ex-wife, who was sitting on the steps and crying. "Lauren, what's the matter?" asked Nicholas quietly. "We had a terrible fight with Joshua," she sobbed. "You probably heard about it. It's been going on for a while now. And now he just kicked me out like a dog." Nicholas looked at his ex-wife and felt sorry for her for a moment. He helped her up and offered to wait for the conflict to be resolved over tea. The girl looked at him as a savior. Was he no longer angry with her for the past? They sat in the kitchen. Nicholas brewed tea while Lauren absent-mindedly traced her finger around the rim of her cup. She then looked up at the young man and asked, "Nicholas, are you still angry with me?" The guy didn't expect such a question, so he paused for a moment. "No, Lauren, I'm not angry anymore. In a breakup, both partners are usually at fault. It just happened between us." Lauren was so upset about the fight with her new lover that her ex-husband's words touched her deeply. She thought that they still had a chance. Lauren didn't get to finish. The feeling for ex-husband, with whom they have come so far together, overwhelmed her with a huge wave. She touched his face and was about to kiss him, but Nicholas said in a cold tone, "But I haven't forgiven you, Lauren. There can't be anything between us anymore. I suggest you go back to the one you chose." Nicholas stood up from the table, headed to the hallway, and demonstratively opened the door for his ex-wife to leave immediately. Lauren, with her head down and trying to hide her tears, quickly made her way to the exit. It was all over in their relationship. What do you think about this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. And thank you for listening to the story until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and be sure to like this video, as it will help us promote the channel. All the best.